Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, Carly Anderson Reviews Movies, and today I'm going to be reviewing a movie, It Chapter 2. Now before I begin, I do have to say I have not read the books. I'm not a hardcore Stephen King fan, so if I criticize it because I thought it was too whack or I didn't really understand, it might be because of those things I have already said. So if I do mess up on the Stephen King isms, please leave a comment and let me know. Also, please check out my social media, my Twitter, my Insta, my Letterboxd, as well as checking out my other reviews on this very same channel. Now, without further ado, let's get to the review. So, It Chapter 2, what did I think about it? Well, I liked it. Like most people, I liked it. I didn't really like it, but I didn't dislike it. Yes, there are many flaws that unfortunately took me out of the movie, but if I was willing to look past those flaws, which I did while watching the movie, it was actually a pretty solid movie and really enjoyable. The runtime didn't affect me whatsoever, because with editing and the intense scenes like in Avengers Endgame, it was very similar, long movie, but it seemed to go by pretty fast. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which is my favorite movie of the year so far, the runtime did not affect me at all. There were a lot of jump scares, actually. I found myself like wincing at a couple moments, and there was a lot of more terrifying moments, I guess, which I guess makes it scarier than Chapter 1. Although Chapter 1 did have a lot of genuine scares and original scares, and they kind of build up the suspense, whereas Chapter 2, it was more paint by number scares and been there, done that. So leave it up to you which one you think is scarier in a sense. Pennywise and all the strange forms it takes is horror gold as always, but towards the end it gets borderline silly. Again, I haven't read the book, so I don't know if it was borderline silly in the book, but I just found it very wacky and just not very what I'm used to, what we saw in Chapter 1. Bill Skarsgård is not as terrific as he is in 2017. Remember, there's even an Oscar push for him. That's definitely not happening here. But his acting talent is still off the charts. His best moment, and I think the best moment in the entire film, is during the carnival mirror sequence. It's brilliantly directed, edited. The score is phenomenal. The acting, especially by James McAvoy and Bill Skarsgård and the little kid. I think this is just the best sequence. It had the best scares, and it was very like, what is going on here? In a good sense, not in a confusing sense. But yeah, that was James McAvoy's best moment. He's good in this. He's not as superb as I would have hoped, however. Some scenes he was believable. Others, it was just like he half-assed it. It wasn't incredible, unfortunately. Jessica Chastain was better than McAvoy and consistently more powerful. However, I was still disappointed. Where I was not disappointed, though, however, was Bill Hader. Bill Hader stands. I absolutely love the TV show Barry, and Bill Hader's just having an excellent year, and he was excellent as Richie Tozier, totally embodying what Finn Wolfhard brought to the character in a excellent way. It was excellent casting, and he is a great actor. He was both believable as his character, as I said, and he brought something fresh that paid homage to the 2017 version and his younger self. His comedic timing was also perfect, but his dramatic moments, especially towards the end, no spoilers here, I thought were absolutely incredible. The rest of the adult losers were miscast. I thought Eddie tried too hard to be Eddie. Mike was just forgettable, and Ben, I didn't believe him as an older Ben. No, it's not just because of the weight. I just didn't get like the quirks and stuff that we found from the original. The way they incorporate the younger kids too was really bad. I'm not even gonna lie, it was wasted potential at its prime. They could have used them for a storyline. Instead they used it as a PTSD device poorly. There was also a lot of themes that I thought they kind of used poorly, like the homophobia in the beginning and the kind of fat jokes throughout with Ben. And I don't know, I just thought it was miscast, and I didn't buy it for a moment. There was good parts, like the comedy was great, but just nothing really shined. But when they did have the kid moments, even though they had nothing to do with the plot, I thought that absolutely shined brightly. Because I absolutely adore Jack Dylan Grazer. He's the best part of Shazam. And Jaden Martell, I could watch him in anything and I would be blown away. That's why I'm super duper excited for Knives Out when it comes out later November. And they pulled both incredible performances from their material that they did have. Finn Wolfhard didn't get as many jokes as the first. I guess Bill Hader kind of carried the joke department here, but he still played Richie authentically, and I could enjoy that. The jokes in Chapter 2 weren't necessary, but they were good. They were actually legitimately good jokes, albeit they weren't important. The entire vibe of Chapter 2 is a lot more blockbuster than indie, which isn't a bad thing, but it's just not right for this property. But like, let's say if Disney were to have owned It Chapter 2, instead of sitting at a high 70% on Rotten Tomatoes, it would be a 40% because people have a bias against Disney properties now. And finally, the direction. The direction was very unfortunate. There was a lot of wasted potential that if this didn't have such strong and powerful source material, a la the screenplay, it would have fallen absolutely so flat. And that's really disappointing because the direction was bland and had questionable choices, especially in the CGI, the editing, the cinematography, and choice in sequences. There's a lot of unnecessary sequences, which I guess could have made it a shorter runtime, but again, that's not a complaint of mine. I wouldn't say I was disappointed by Chapter 2 and found the redeemable qualities redeemable. This is a positive review, but just I miss the indiness and the spirit of Chapter 1, which is mostly due to the kids and the way they incorporated that ensemble. So yeah, that concludes my review, guys. Please go check out my other social media, my other videos. Have a great day, and also comment below if you have anything to add to this channel. If there's anything I can work on, anything you'd like me to do, rankings, my opinions on stuff, or if you'd like just more movie content.